Hi everyone, my name is Angie Becerra, and today we're going to be presenting the student marketplace website, BookByte. So BookByte, it's a marketplace for Gators by the Gators. It's basically students selling and buying their textbooks and student equipment with these.
So, hi, I'm Brianna Chua. I'm working on the front end and back end mainly with Firestore database and website functionality.
Hi, I'm Dylan Khan, and I'm working on the front end and back end to create and develop the necessary logic of the website.
And my name is Angie Becerra, and I'll be working in the UI and UX development of a BookByte and also the integration of the backend and Firestore. All right, so what is BookByte? So it's a peer-to-peer marketplace for textbooks and students' equipment. It allows students to buy, sell, or rent textbooks. It's also a budget-friendly application focused for students, and it has real-time availability and secure transactions as well. All right, why BookByte? So students struggle to find textbooks that are readily available, affordable as well. With our website, students are at ease. UF students can upload their used textbooks and they can buy a wide variety of students' equipment as textbooks at a lower price, as well as like in a secure and rapid, affordable platform. All right, it's focused on students. So BookByte empowers University of Florida students by providing a seamless platform to buy and sell academic essentials, ensuring that they are fully equipped for their educational journey, and it provides a way for students to be equipped while being affordable and available. So the website framework, the programming languages that we're going to be using is JavaScript, Python, HTML. The framework technologies is going to be Firestore, Django, React.js, and MongoDB for the database.
So this is our user story map. In the yellow, you can see our epics, which is data usage, user experience, and selling books. Below that, we have our steps with data usage and user experience having 2 and selling books having 3. Under that, we have our MVPs for our first release in green, and under that, we have our MVPs in pink. So this is just a high-level version of our user stories gathered together. And on the next slide, we can see some specific examples of user stories. So one of the first user stories we have is under user authentication, which is account creation. So our user story is, as a user, I want to be able to make an account online so that I can have my personal information ready to use. So this is our card for the 3 C's, and for the second C is conversation. So this is what we'll be talking about with our stakeholders and programmers, such as what sign-up method will we use, or will there be multiple ways to create an account? We also have our acceptance criteria, which is our third C. And for this, we have things such as the player can create an account through their school email, and users can create accounts with basic information like name and major. Under user experience, we have the user story. As a user, I want to have a clean UI so that's easy to navigate. Our conversation for this would be what key sections should the user see? How can we ensure navigation is intuitive for first-time users? And how can we make it mobile friendly? Our acceptance criteria for this is homepage includes navigation bar with categories, website layout follows clean and modern design, and design and framework will support mobile screen sizes.
All right, the architectural design of BookByte, at the bottom, you guys can see the logo that we're going to be using. The presentation layer, it's going to be done on React.js for managing any type of user interactions, listing, search, and transactions. Then the application layer, which is going to be the backend, it's going to be using the Django REST API, and it's going to be handling all the business logic, user authentication, and the API communications. Then we have the data layer, which is going to be used by using Firestore and MongoDB. It will be storing the user's profiles, the book details, and transactions history. And we also have the authentication layer with Firebase with UFSSO, which ensures that secure students and which ensures a secure student verification. And we also have the payment processing, which is going to be based on the PayPal API to make transactions secure between the buyers and the sellers as well. So for the front end, we're going to be having an engaging and interactive UI. It's going to have instant interactions with the book search, listings, and transactions in real time. It also has a mobile first design, which is optimized for every type of screen size. Also has a dynamic and responsive architecture for real-time book updates and smooth transactions. And some of the highlights is that we're going to be using React.js for the powerful UR rendering and JSX for the seamless component design. Now for the backend, we're going to be using Django REST API for the business logic and security. It has a powerful APIs to connect the front end with data transactions and the security and authentication to keep your user safe. It also has a seamless integration for all system components, ensuring that everything works together and flawless. And the reason why we're going to be using the Django is because it has a rapid development with the Django's batteries includes framework, and it has a RESTful API, which makes the interaction smooth between components.
So for our data layer, we'll be using Firestore and MongoDB. So Firestore is a fast NoSQL database that updates in real time, while MongoDB is flexible and scalable, perfect for growing data sets. So for this, we'll be using MongoDB with more scalable information such as listings and transaction data, while we will be using user data for Firestore, which we'll talk about for authentication as well. So what's stored specifically overall is our user profiles, the book listings, and transaction history. So like I said previously, we'll be using Firebase for authentication along with UF single sign-on. So university single sign-on is will be combined with Firebase authentication. And outside of that, we'll also be using two-factor authentication for added security. Why we're using Firebase is because it's simple, secure, and allows university single sign-ons, and it has seamless integration with it.
For the payment processing, we're using the PayPal API. And for the key process flow, it is the buyer initiates the payment with PayPal API integration, which makes the payment initiated via a secure encrypted API call. And the payment methods could be used with credit, debit cards, or the PayPal balance. Payment authorization uses OAuth 2.0 authentication, which brings a secure access to PayPal for payment authorization, and also uses tokenized payment details, which brings no sensitive data stored and reduces security risk. The transaction handling uses a capture API, which finalizes the payment after authorization and transfers the funds to the seller. Refund cancel API handles the transaction disputes or cancellations. And the adaptive payment API directly transfers funds to seller's PayPal account, and instant payment notifications is real-time confirmations, both sent to the buyer and the seller. Sprint 1 backlog is user authentication and registration. And as a story is, as a student, I want to sign up and log in securely so that I can access my account. And that's 8 story points. Listing creation, as a seller, I want to add a book equipment listing so that I could sell my used items to other students, which is 5 points. Database setup and API integration. As a developer, I need a backend to store and retrieve data efficiently so that the platform functions smoothly, which is 8 points. And responsive UI. As a user, I want to have a clean UI so that it is easy to navigate, and that's 5 points. For velocity and capacity, we use the total PBI divided by 2 sprints for the velocity, which is 32.5 points per sprint. And capacity, we are three teammates times 10 hours per week, and 2 weeks bring 60 hours of work. For a risk management plan, our avoidance strategy is to consistently update the database and posts marked as sold or old if listing is no longer if the listing is no longer unavailable. And terms and agreements must be agreed to when creating an account. Our minimization strategy reporting system on posts that allow users to flag suspicious accounts or textbook listings as false publications. Our contingency strategy enforces store policies with a dedicated page on the website to protect buyers and sellers when using BookByte. For our risk, we have false publication, and the explanation is students don't actually own the book they're trying to sell. And probability is medium, effect is serious, and the category is moderate. Unreliable access, the website could face downtime where students are unable to log into their accounts, and the probability is low. The effect being insignificant and category as low. Return policies, students could be untruthful with their listing and need to enforce policies to protect buyers. The probability is medium and the effect is serious with the category as moderate. Data privacy, need to ensure users' data doesn't get leaked or is used unethically. Probability is low and the effect is serious with the categorized as moderate. In inventory management, books listed as available may already be sold or out of stock, causing frustration for buyers. The probability is medium, the effect is serious, and the category is as moderate as moderate.
So our current issues is that we're working on the backend API and CRUD operations for listing and user authentication. On the front end side, we're setting up API endpoints to communicate with the backend to fetch and display data. For our next steps, we want to complete our MongoDB design and our structure for how our database will be organized. We're going to implement authentication systems using Firestore, test database connectivity, and connect our backend to front end. So that is our current project.